So, judicial appointments has been an issue in this country for a very long time. Transparency, having more accountability as to what judges are appointed, is something that has been sought for a very long time. But have we really made any kind of process? Because collegium system remains opaque as ever.
So this is something, which is this subject is very close to my heart. I've been really wanting that the collegium system open up its system and, give a wider, view to the availability of good people in the system. I'll give you a very interesting example. Women in judiciary. In the lower judiciary, where appointment is by merit, women are occupying 40 to 50% in most states. I think there is no state less than 35% in the country. Higher judiciary, High Court and Supreme Court, you have less than 10%. So obviously there is something very seriously wrong with the appointment process. You want people to come to you. You want people to lobby. According to me, anybody who lobbies to become a judge should be a disqualification rather than a qualification. And you can understand how difficult it is for a woman candidate to lobby, because a woman candidate is at a huge disadvantage for trying to lobby, because all kinds of things will be said about her, and it is definitely not desirable for this kind of a situation to come up. Now, what is happening? What is the real problem in the appointment process? The Supreme Court by a judgment has taken the authority upon the judiciary that we are the final persons to decide on appointment of judges. Now, this kind of authority comes with a huge amount of responsibility. Now, what is happening today, that the collegium members who see people arguing in front of them, if they are genuinely interested in picking up good people, they think of them. Although most of the time, even those are not considered. Most of the time, they pick up people of people whom they know, or who are close to them, or who are recommended by somebody close to them. Now, let me go to the best scenario, where they are trying to look at the best people, that is the people who are arguing in front of them. The person who is arguing in front of them, whether in the High Court or in the Supreme Court, most of the time is aspiring to be a senior advocate and go in the ladder, in that ladder, rather than climbing the ladder for judicial appointment. And so most of them decline to become judges. And then you say good people are not coming to become judges, and you always try and blame the lawyers for that. What you miss out completely is, and that's where the women candidates also will come in, what you miss out completely is that most of the time the lawyer who's briefing the senior is the real brain behind the whole case. It is his research, it is his drafting, and it is his briefing that the senior, argues what he argues. Now, that person is faceless in the system. You never even look at that person, because that person has done all the back-end job. He does the job he or she does the job sitting in his office. He does all the preparation. He deals with the client. He does the drafting, does all the research, and comes to the senior. Now, in your system, in the opaque system, you are not even looking at any of these people who are coming to court in a matter. Now, this brings me to the other point of women lawyers. Women lawyers are largely still not, in the senior advocate mold, because they miss out in the early years because of childbirth and marriage, etc. And so these family commitments. But they can be very good if you look at the ones who are doing good drafting and who are, assisting seniors. You can also look at women lawyers who are doing well in law firms, if you really want women lawyers to be promoted, because everybody does lip service, but nobody is wanting to actually do something. So the whole system has to change by, instead of people coming in front of you to argue a matter, or people lobbying with you to become a judge, you have to go out and find out from your own sources, whether you talk to the eminent seniors or you talk to somebody whom you trust in the system, who could tell you that who's a young, good lawyer who's doing good drafting, good research, good knowledge of law, because those are the qualities which are required for a judge. An argument quality is not required in a judge. He is to sit quiet and decide and write a good judgment. He is to understand the law. His concepts on law should be good. So really speaking, this whole system of looking at people who come and argue in front of you, if you are actually wanting to pick up the right people, is firstly flawed. And the second flaw is that if people are lobbying to become judges in front of you, then that's even worse than the first category. So in either which way, I'm not saying that all the names being picked up are bad names. That's not my case at all. I'm saying that you are picking up some good names also. Some high courts have some very good judges, but there could be better names. Is the point that I'm making? There could be better names in every high court, and those better names are not being considered. They should be considered at the right age. You know what age you want. You know what income bracket you want. You know how many reported judgments you want. You know how many pro bono work you want from a person who's aspiring to be a judge. Why not make a database of all of this and then try and consider each one of them in that database so that you can get the best name rather than just a good name. And that is where the judiciary is completely faulting. And I think there is a long way to go till we, put this place. What is happening? What is this comment of Justice Pardiwala? If you are commenting so adversely against a particular judge of the Allahabad High Court, it is you who selected him to be there in the first place. So there's something wrong in your system. So I'm not commenting on the particular judge because I don't want to do that. But definitely, if you are feeling so strongly for that judge, then you have to yourself only to blame because you are the one who appointed them. The collegium system has appointed them. So you have to. This whole thing needs to be, given a thorough relook to ensure transparency and proper method of appointment of the right people for this higher judiciary.
Sir, I think you spoke in among the interviews also. I was reading your old interviews about how trial court lawyers are not considered for judicial appointments, and that's a whole pool that we're missing. It is also that they don't have a lot of privileges that many others have in your system, coming from wealth or coming from family. But that is something which has been clearly overlooked by the collegium system.
You're actually right. So when I mentioned law firm, actually I should have also mentioned trial court. You're absolutely right. There is some amazing talent in the trial court. Some people doing amazing work on the criminal side, on the civil side. There are some amazing lawyers doing specialized tribunal work. Whether it be the Competition Commission or the NCLT or NCLAT or the Electricity Tribunal. You have some amazing minds. I keep going there and I see these youngsters. Some of them are doing exceptionally well there. Nobody is looking at them at all. Nobody is wanting to even find out if there are some good people in one of these tribunals or trial courts who can be considered. So that's where the whole process is inwards. It needs to be outwards, You have to get that. That's why the database is important. The moment you have the database, people who are enrolled in the Bar Council, people who are enrolled in the bar associations. And you have to just create the database. We are in an information age where data is all available on the press of a button. So, but somebody has to make that effort to find out. Somebody should be wanting to find out the database and try and identify. This whole concept of the collegium not knowing somebody is absurd if you ask me. Why should they know you? It is their job to find out who's the best. And in the process of finding out the best, it is they who should go out and know you rather than the person wanting to become a judge or being the right person to be considered for judgeship, going and showing his face as if it is some kind of a muh dikhai like we have in a traditional wedding, even today in Bihar. So there is no muh dikhai required in this judgeship appointment. The judges, the collegium judges owe a duty and a responsibility to the institution and to the nation to look outwards and to find out the best names in the system, whether it may be in the trial court or the tribunals or in the high court or even in the high court appearing in different jurisdictions where they don't sit, the collegium judges don't sit. So I don't see this concept of collegium judges knowing the particular person being a right basis to recommend somebody's name.
Thank you, sir.